Real estate truth versus fiction. Hi, I'm Phil Pustiovsky with freedommentor.com, and in this video I'm going to share with you how to distinguish between truth versus fiction in real estate. In his fantastic book, The Signal and the Noise by Nate Silver, he describes the difference between signal, which is truth, and the noise. And he points out that in this environment, there is a whole lot of noise. It's coming from a lot of places too, especially with the internet and the ability to make comments and forum threads and post and all of the interaction in the social media world. There is a whole lot of noise, and yet the signal is being drowned out because the noise is so loud. It's drowning out the truth. So for real estate investors and real estate agents and real estate professionals, oftentimes the local RIA club meetings, the local gatherings of your peers or your competitors, and many of these online forums, they have signal, but it's being drowned out by the noise. And perhaps even more dangerous is that the noise is being created by very well-intentioned people. They're not people that are out to ruin an entire thread and create a whole lot of chaos and confusion. No, they have the best of intentions. And who are these people? They're typically beginners or those people that have failed in real estate. Why? I guess maybe because they have more time on their hands. Maybe they have more of an inclination to talk. One of the rules that my mentor shared with me is usually the person that talks the loudest at a RIA club meeting is usually the brokest. Unless, of course, they're the speaker, but you know what I mean. So why is that the case? There's probably other reasons as well. But meanwhile, the successful real estate investors are quiet. They're listening. They understand that God gave you 2 ears and 1 mouth. And they're trying to pick up distinctions. They're trying to pick up signal amongst the noise. Oftentimes, the most successful real estate investors at a club meeting are the quietest ones. For years, when I showed up to real estate club meetings, silent, just taking notes. Because I was looking to gain information. Now, I would talk to people, absolutely. I was a networker. But I would ask questions and then listen. Most successful real estate professionals, the best and the brightest out there, they're not spending time online answering online forum threads and posts. They'll read them, but they're reading them to find some signal for a specific question, but they're usually not spending hours of time typing. In fact, the people that spend the most time on those forums are typically spending the least amount of time doing real estate deals. And I'm not trying to offend anyone if they enjoy being on forums. I'm just telling you that what we have discovered over a long period of time is that there's a big difference between the signal and the noise. And there's a lot more of this than this. And this is typically coming from those who aren't just knocking it out of the park in their respective fields, unless they have a specific reason to tell you. So in all transparency, when you watch these videos and whatnot, I enjoy sharing this information, but I first of all don't tell you all my top secrets. I hold that back for just the people I work with. And the people I work with, I share in the profits with them. So I try to share everything I know because we split the profits and make money together. And so what happened for me was that I was able to distinguish between the signal and the noise, between truth and fiction, with the help of a mentor. See, I had difficulty in the beginning, and I know a lot of other beginners do too, because they're the ones that are clutching and grabbing for that signal, because they're beginners. They want to know what works, what doesn't, where to start, where not to start, what to focus on, what not to focus on. And the problem is, it's real easy to get suckered into the noise, because interestingly enough, real estate truth is not always intuitive. Sometimes it's completely counterintuitive. It's not logical at all. Let me give you an example. Right now, there's a buzz about REOs and foreclosures. And the idea being that we've gone through this big bursting of the real estate bubble, and these banks are desperate to get rid of their distressed properties and get them off their books because they prevent them from being able to lend money, and the list goes on and on. And so that sounds logical, that this would be a perfect time to buy REOs and foreclosures because banks are, quote, desperate to get rid of their distressed inventory. Well, the signal is that REOs and foreclosures right now are full of competition. Hedge funds, private equity funds on Wall Street are buying up bulk packages of thousands of REOs and foreclosures at a time right now. Foreign all-cash investors are pouring money into this country right now. They think America real estate is a bargain. And to them, what better bargain for real estate in America than a foreclosure? Countries like Canada rarely even have foreclosures. I mean, America is very unique in that regard right now. And so you have a lot of foreign money dropping cash. And where are they dropping it into? Foreclosures, because they think that's where the bargains are. You have all cash investors here in the U.S. that are doing the same thing. They've been waiting on the sidelines, and now they're jumping in. People like Warren Buffett have said that one of the best investments right now is a single-family home. You have tons of people pouring into real estate right now, and they're buying foreclosures and REOs. So in fact, that's the noise. Where's the signal? The signal is that quietly, the smart real estate investors are focusing specifically on the truth, the signal, which is working directly with sellers, avoiding the competition, avoiding the listed foreclosures and REOs, and going directly to the sellers. My mentor also shared with me how to be able to add up and determine when things didn't add up. Like I remember years ago, a guy telling me he was a successful investor in Nashville, and he was telling me about how I should avoid short sales, and he gave me this laundry list of reasons. Meanwhile, he was doing short sales. That brings up this point. Beware the naked man who offers you the shirt off his back. All right, you'll think about that one after the video. So I also learned just how to be able to tell when not enough data added up to a conclusion. So an example, I was recently reading on a forum post where somebody was talking about how she was unable to make direct mailings to probates work. And she basically said, it doesn't work in my area. Well, I read a little bit further and found out that she had mailed 70 letters. Well, I know that direct mail has a 1% to 2% response rate. She didn't mail enough letters to even get a response. Does that make sense? So I knew that she couldn't make such a sweeping assessment for it to be signal with only 70 letters. Now, if she had mailed out 2,000 letters over the course of the last year and mailed to each person at least once a month, and she split tested her different letters, then all of a sudden I would look at that and say, okay, well, let me see. What were her statistics? What were her results? But how many people, how many beginners would read that post, that forum thread, get that piece of advice from a local REIA club meeting during the break or something in a bathroom and someone's yakking about what they're doing, and then take it as signal when it's really noise? Happens all the time. Turns out the most successful real estate investors recognize signal instantly and recognize noise just as fast. Whereas those that are just getting started typically have a much more difficult time doing that. So how do you get over that? Well, common sense can help. Common sense can help you determine when things don't quite add up. But so can experience. You don't have any common sense. If you do something long enough, you'll learn all your lessons the hard way and you'll have the experience. But I would argue the best way to do it, the most efficient way to separate the truth from the fiction, the signal from the noise, is to get either a person or a group of people who can vet out the information for you, who can teach you how to separate the signal from the noise. My mentor did that for me. We do that for the people we work with, and be able to distinguish what's working, what's not, and really ultimately what's truth and what's fiction. Because arguably, the majority of what you read and hear out there is noise. And it's not coming from bad people. And in fact, they probably would get very defensive if they learned that what they've been writing about or talking about is a whole bunch of noise. They get real mad. But it's the truth. The truth is that so much of it is inaccurate advice. So I'm not trying to step on any toes and offend anyone here, but I am trying to help you recognize a very important distinction about the real estate business. And if you like what you're hearing about the book, The Signal and the Noise, it's a fantastic book. It's really long, but It is fascinating, and it really will change your perspective on a lot of things, such as the weather. It talks about how the Weather Channel actually bumps up the percentage of when it's likely to rain. If it's a 5% chance of rain, they'll bump it up to, say, 15%. Why? You'll have to read the book to find out. All right, well, I'm Phil Pustiovsky with freedommentor.com. You can learn more about me and our program and what we're doing at our website. You can watch more of these videos. I love sharing little tidbits of truth and knowledge and signal on these videos. And thanks again for watching. Again, you can check us out at freedommentor.com.